We officially have a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and President Trump is set to sign executive orders at the crypto summit in just a few short hours. In this video, we're going to talk about how I'm navigating this. And spoiler, I actually think this is going to be a sell the news event. I issued a warning in my Discord this morning. We're going to talk about all of that, plus everything that's happened within the past, 24 hours, because there's been a ton of things going on. Plus, we're going to talk about some economic data that just came in. But before we get started, welcome back to the channel. My name's Doc. Throughout the day, I'm a resident physician, and at night, I take you guys on my crypto and investing journey. Bitcoin right now, we're getting a nice little bump up. We just hit $91,000. We're in the middle of our bull market support band. And it seems like, yeah, this is the 4-hour chart. Literally 12 hours ago, we were at 86.9. So some nice upward movement up. And this is after unemployment data came in worse than expected. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Stay towards the end of the video because I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm navigating the crypto summit that's happening in literally just 5 or 6 hours. So we're getting a nice pump up here. We're still above the 200-day moving average. And this is kind of a spot we've seen before, right? We've gotten up to, the low 90s, but we happen to have some pretty tough sell pressure at 94,000. So it's official, right? The United States now holds approximately 200,000 Bitcoin in its strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is totally separate from the digital asset stockpile, right? So they're kind of making this interesting distinguished between the two, right? Bitcoin strategic reserve and then a digital asset stockpile. Here's what you need to get from this. They are going to try to add to the strategic Bitcoin reserve in any way possible that will not cost taxpayers money. That's important. The other take home is that the digital asset stockpile, I actually don't think they're going to add to this in a meaningful way. So you might be thinking like, Doc, how are they going to add to the strategic Bitcoin reserve in ways that won't cost taxpayers money? Well, there's actually a ton of ways. The biggest one is one that we've all talked about. They could convert a lot of their gold notes into digital gold, i.e. Bitcoin. I'm also hearing rumors that the reserve in the IRS may take tax payments in Bitcoin and not have any capital gains tax on it. These are all just rumors right now. We're hoping to get some clarification this Friday at the Crypto Summit. So I tweeted this out this morning. What does the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve actually mean? The biggest thing that I'm not hearing anybody talking about is that this means a higher floor for Bitcoin, right? The largest government in the world, we're not going to sell our Bitcoin. And we all remember the fears this summer of Germany completely wiping out their bags, right? Germany held a significant amount of Bitcoin and they sold it all. That was kind of the big narrative the summer of 2024. Well, that's something that we're not going to have to worry about with the US. And arguably, the US's holdings are much larger, right? The other thing that people aren't talking about is, right, we're talking about a higher floor. I also think that this means less volatility in the down market, right? So it's going to happen, guys. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Bitcoin at some point is going to crash. And no, I'm not trying to FUD. I'm just trying to be realistic and put this on your radar. In 2026, I suspect we're going to have a crash, right? This is the mid-election cycle year, and we typically see big drawdowns in all digital assets, obviously including Bitcoin, in mid-election cycle years. And guys, also stocks, right? The other thing that this means is global adoption, right? The world's largest country with the highest GDP is adopting Bitcoin. They are setting the blueprint up for other countries. And then we're kind of laying a foundation, right? Yeah, I like to think of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve right now as kind of a defensive play, right? We're not going to sell our Bitcoin right now. And this lays the foundation for us to now come up with more of an offensive strategy to gain more Bitcoin in the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. All of this really is hanging on the crypto summit that's happening today, March 7th. There are plans as far as their schedule goes that Trump is going to sign an executive order at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 p.m. Central. keep your eye out on this, right? And also be flexible with the times. The president, they're gonna work on their timeline, right? We're not gonna go through this whole post through Virtual Bacon. He says a lot of really good things here, talking about the Bitcoin strategic reserve, also mentioning how David Sachs criticized the prior administration for selling $195,000 for $366 million. This would be worth over $17 billion today. World Liberty Foundation, they also partnered with the SUI Foundation. This was actually really big. SUI had a big jump up because of that. There's a lot of other stuff going on, but the thing that I want to talk about is the Texas Senate passed the Bitcoin Reserve Bill in a 25-5 vote. So pretty landslide victory, right? Over 80% of folks voted for this. So now if it goes to its final stages, we're going to look at this in a second, Texas could potentially be the first U.S. state with a Bitcoin reserve. You guys know I'm in Texas. I'm obviously super biased about this. This was, in a lot of ways, a historic moment, right? And I think one thing that we need to remind people is Texas is the 8th largest economy in the world, right? This would be similar to countries like Italy, France, or India establishing a Bitcoin reserve. Do not underestimate the GDP from Texas. We are a powerhouse, and the numbers speak for themselves, right? Texas has the same size of economy as Italy, France, or India, amongst others. So I really like this chart here. It kind of shows a good snapshot of where we are with states adopting a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And as you can see, Texas is right here. We have passed the second committee, just like Arizona. The only state who's rushed this along a little bit farther is Utah, right? So we're all hoping to pass this checkered flag where states have confirmed and approved Bitcoin strategic reserves. Here's the thing. Yes, I'm from Texas. I'd love for it to be the first. I don't care which one is first. We need the first domino to fall, right? Once we start moving more states from the vote in progress to the approve, that will allow for more states to get bills introduced. Now, there's also a handful of states who have rejected a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and I really do think this is something that they are eventually going to regret and hence overturn, right? You get new politicians in these states. I do think there will eventually be a bill that reintroduces a Bitcoin strategic reserve in these 5 states, right? Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, and then Pennsylvania. Wyoming kind of surprised me. This is a pretty conservative state. Same with Montana. Senator Loomis is from Wyoming. So hopefully this can get reintroduced. And the other thing is I spent a lot of time in Nevada. I'm hoping Nevada can introduce some legislation there. Okay, we got to talk about some economic data. We are going to talk about kind of my Bitcoin warning. I think I'm going to probably put this on my thumbnail, and I can't wait to hear a bunch of people bitch on, oh my gosh, you're being dramatic in your thumbnails. Guys, we got to get people to the videos. And that's when I feel like I dropped the real alpha. But I need these kind of corny, obnoxious thumbnails to get people to click on the video. So jobs data came back. This was non-farm payrolls, so a little bit worse than expected. Or excuse me, I would say this is really at expectations. The unemployment data was a little bit higher than expected, right? Expectations were 4.0%. That was actually what the previous month was. We came back at 4.1%. So a slight miss, but stock futures are jumping, right? The stock market is actually not doing that bad. If we look at the Dow Jones, it's pretty much flat. It's right up 0.1%. The S&P, it's up 0.25%. So I would say it's flat right now, right? And this is actually, I'm considering this a win, given that we did miss expectations. Completely respectfully disagree with Alan here, right? He's saying that after, right, a slower job growth is rising, that we have this red. No, look what he's posting. Minus 0.33%, less than 0.5%. I think this guy is being a little dramatic, and clearly we've shown that the market is shifting around because the S&P has turned green. So don't fall for narratives like this, right? He's posting these really small numbers. Again, I have no idea who this Allen guy is, but this was kind of a disingenuous tweet from my standpoint. Okay, if you guys do want to trade this market, right, volatile markets make for good trading environments. My BTCC link is going to be down below. 10% bonus on first-time deposits. You can get an extra 10 racks per person up to bonuses and lower fees if you use the link down below in my description. They're a no VPN, no KYC. They've been around for 13 years. I put a bunch of longs in yesterday on the dip, and I'm glad that I did. They are a partner of the channel, so if you use the link, it helps your boy out. Down below, we also have my free Discord. Guys, I'm not selling you anything. Nothing to sell here. We're building an awesome community, and you can kind of understand my thought process a lot quicker in real time than on YouTube, right? It takes some time to make these YouTube videos, edit them. And guess what, guys? I said I'm moving 10% of my holdings into stables, hoping I'm wrong, but I feel like this crypto summit could kind of be a sell the news event. And we're going to talk about that in just a sec. I really quickly just want to say, hey, there's a 50% rate chance that we get rate cuts in May. So FOMC meeting, the next one is March 19th. Okay, there's about a 91% chance we're not cutting rates. But the good thing is in May, 50% chance that we cut rates. The market is starting to price in more rate cuts given weakening economic data. The unemployment rating this morning is an example of that. This is my website, InvestWithDoc.com. If you want to get to know me, right, you want to get in contact with me, you can send me an email here. And this is my channel here. Just wanted to say, guys, I'm at almost 6,000 subscribers, which feels kind of wild. Really, hey, we just hit it. Did not plan that. This is a real-time thing. Appreciate everybody's support over the past. We're coming up on 90 days, right? So, okay, enough about that. Why am I this is my warning or what's going on here? A lot of sentiment on Twitter, in my YouTube comments, on other video YouTube comments, is that the crypto summit this afternoon could be a sell the news event, okay? I hope it's not. I'm genuinely hoping that they announce, hey, we're buying all the tokens, we're buying Bitcoin, no capital gains taxes on Bitcoin. And if that happens, that could be huge. But last night, we saw a Bitcoin strategic reserve get announced only for Bitcoin to drop in the low 90s to the mid 80s, right? Sentiment is kind of off right now. And in a lot of ways, crypto holders, you, me, yes, you watching this, I'm talking to you and me, we kind of sometimes have these like pretty lofty expectations, right? So I kind of think this could be a sell the news event. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but if the market does sell off, I'm going to use that as a buying opportunity to pick up projects that I have really big conviction in and lower my cost of entry, right? Dollar cost average. Now, if crypto skyrockets, with this event, I only moved 10% into stables. So I'm genuinely curious, what are your guys' thoughts about this? Let me know down below in the comments. I read all of the comments. And if you got any value out of this, hit the like button, consider subscribing, comment down below what you think is going to happen. And guys, the engagement with these videos really, really does help me out. It's one of the reasons why I've been able to grow so fast. So all of your support is really appreciated. Join the Discord down below, and I'll see you guys on my next one.